Ladies and gentlemen, a very good day to you. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to always have you on board. My name is Evans Okinyi, and I'm so glad that you've joined us for these conversations. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yes.
Are we witnessing a continuation of the feud between the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and the current president William Ruto with regards to the kind of issues that were raised by the spokesperson of course, that is Uhuru Kenyatta's spokesperson, Kanze Dena? He says, look at these.
But that thing has been overtaken by events.
How? What do you mean?
The two have talked. Measure.
The two have talked. No, but we don't understand here. What is it? Are they supposed to be talking over that?
No, but they have talked.
Then why would you? Why is it? Do you think it was necessary in the first place?
Pardon?
Do you think it was necessary for it to reach where it has? Because President is saying that for 2 years, even that kind of office has not been remunerated as it's supposed to be done.
Of course, it's not right. Yeah, it's not somebody's favor. No. That is something put in the laws and in the.
So if it's put in the law, and that is why I want us to understand this. Is it now right for them to have this conversation for that to be solved?
No, there should not. There should be no conversation. So one must look at what the meaning of the conversation is.
So
the two cannot talk so that Uhuru gets that which is his. No.
Then why?
Then that must be the question. Yeah.
So what is actually happening?
First of all,
what do you gauge? What do you understand from this?
First of all, Ruto could have reckoned that if I starve Uhuru of these funds, finally he may come begging, which I find it is possible because our rich people in this country are people described by Chinua Achebe in Things Fall Apart. That a man is carrying an elephant on his shoulders, but he sees a grasshopper and bends to pick it. Those are the politicians we have in this country. And I'm not talking about Uhuru Kenyatta or William Ruto. I'm just saying about Kenyans. There are people who have billions, but they steal from the dying. And when the dying have died, they steal money meant for the cemetery, where the dead should be buried.
So what do you mean in this context here?
I'm trying to say, I began by saying it is possible Ruto could starve Uhuru of money, whatever he needs, the resources, so that Uhuru can go begging.
Okay. And
then he can manage him politically. But I'm now explaining, because somebody will wonder, how would Uhuru go begging with all the billions he has, if not trillions, as Miguna would put it. I'm now saying, but that's typical of Kenyans. People with billions are still stealing money from children, from pregnant mothers. Money meant for programs to help women when they go to deliver. It's money that makes people rich in this country. And they are already rich. So I'm trying to explain, it shouldn't surprise you if that will be the case. I hope you can.
Why would you call that begging? Because this is constitutional right. All these things were entrenched in our own constitution.
You didn't listen. You know me, I'm a teacher. You look like a C student. What I'm saying is this. You ask me why would Ruto not give Uhuru his dues? And now they are talking. Is that what you asked?
Yeah, that is what I asked.
It is possible that Ruto would starve Uhuru to force Uhuru into going to beg for it. And then I qualified. Somebody will be watching me and say, how would Uhuru with all these trillions go beg for this little money?
But then I
explained it. That's typical of Kenyans.
But I also asked a question. Why do you call it begging? This is right. Why would you, somebody who just actually demands for his right to be...
Again, you didn't get what I said.
Why would you call that begging? Why would you call that begging?
Evans, you didn't get what I said. From day one, Uhuru deserved certain treatment.
Okay.
Certain privileges. Certain resources directed to his way. Office, if it's not ready, there must be evidence that somebody is working on it.
Okay.
Vehicles, they must be there. Payment for his staff, it must be. He deserves it. Is there in law. Almost 2 years later, he's still asking for it. So then I said, was it there for done so that he can go and beg? And now that they are talking, could it have succeeded? That you have drawn Uhuru into coming to beg?
So are you therefore saying that right now that they're talking now, this is begging?
That could be begging. But it could also be a strategy they have. Yeah.
And if it's begging, is it right?
It can't be right. Okay. Why would you beg for less? It's like going to beg for your salary. If you are employed by government and you are supposed to be paid, you can't go and beg. Uhuru's dues benefits are enshrined in law. And Kibaki enjoyed them. Moi enjoyed them. So why? What is the fuss about? Yeah.
Now let's get to the point that you've just raised here. Certain leaders from the UDA side, of course, I saw Nelson Koechwe on in this conversation, and he's saying here that this is a billionaire. That's the kind of feelings that they're actually having, and that's why you were bringing in the issue about this is typical of Kenyans. He's saying that this is a billionaire with everything. Why let him just be patient? All those things would be somehow
it's like
implemented.
Saying, that's actually stupid. It's like saying, because you are a Kipsigis employed by government and you have 500 acres of tea, which maybe you inherited from your father, and you have been using well. When the money comes, bonus, whatever payments come, you develop yourself. You have a block of flats in Kericho town, in Bomet town. So somebody, if you are working, should not be paid your salary. Because you are rich. You see, that argument is stupid. Yeah. What people should be saying, let's look at these benefits. Do they deserve those benefits from a poor country? Let's have that conversation. That is a different conversation. Whether actually somebody having been president for 10 or 5 years should take all these benefits from a poor country where children are dying from diarrhea. That's the conversation we should be having. But so long as it is within the provisions of the law, then denying a former president his dues is both illegal, immoral, almost criminal, and politically unwise.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is it. Another question that has also risen from this particular exchange between the former president and the current president is, where is this money going? Because it has been budgeted for and allocated to him within the budget, but then this money has not been dispersed to his account. So Kenyans are asking, do you think that this could perhaps amount to the so we call budgeted corruption in the country?
It's possible, but again, that's a conversation Kenyans have never held. The mismatch between what has been budgeted for and what is actually provided, appropriated. You budget for something, it's in the books. We shall do a dam worth 10 billion. Is the 10 billion made available? That discrepancy. And once it is made available, the discrepancy between the provided for money and whether it actually works. And further, if there is any monitoring and evaluation and auditing of the same.
Okay.
That conversation is what Kenyans ought to have. You look at your budget, what is in the budget? Is the money actually finally delivered to the project? And if yes, is the project itself delivered? And if it's delivered, is there any mechanism for monitoring and evaluation and auditing? Kenyans don't follow those things.
Okay.
No, we don't know what things are just in the budget. So you cannot say this time that because it's budgeted for who will get this and this, the actual money was released. If indeed the money was released, where did it go? But I'm not going to go in that direction myself. Because there's always that discrepancy between what is provided for and what is actually provided.
So
provided to mean given. Yeah.
But it was appropriated and it's then the budget. So what does it then mean? Do you believe that maybe it was just budgeted for, but then was not allocated to that particular?
Maybe. You see, Kenyans don't know, including members of parliament. They don't know our finances. Nobody knows anything about our finances. Those are the things that made me not support the new constitution. Because we were just scratching on the surface of things. Nobody wanted to make it clear. How do we look at the books of this country? We were shocked by Jimmy Wanjiga and Umtata saying that really, we don't have a debt. We already paid all the debts. You remember?
Yeah, that's what they were
So
called.
if we can't even monitor debt, how much we have borrowed and what it has done and how much of it we have paid, then we are just useless people. So I'm not going to go for that. That money was budgeted for and not given to Uhuru. I don't want to go that direction. There's you can't understand our budgeting process and expenditure and monitoring and auditing. It's not clear, especially given the Auditor General comes long after the money has been spent. Not even last year. He's, I don't know, doing books of which year. And is not well resourced. The Auditor General is not well resourced. And is doing post-mortem that is normally ignored. We haven't even moved. I thought during the Constitution, those are some of the areas we would have touched on and said progressive auditing. As we are spending, there's a body that is auditing the actual spending. As money is released from the treasury, we see where it is going, and there's mechanism for evaluation and monitoring and auditing. They never say. So we are using the old system that is, you can't understand. Yeah. So let me not say there was money budgeted, but not given to Uhuru, and therefore somebody ate. No, I don't want to go that direction.
Okay. You don't want to go that direction?
No.
But it was budgeted. What we are not sure of is whether it was given or not.
Yes.
But in case it was given, of course, the spokesperson has said
and the government money is
they
also,
have not received that money.
Yeah, I don't think so. But the story is how you can keep a former president in suspense. Remember, I want to remind those who are, whether it is President Ruto and or, we must go back to the time when African leaders didn't want to leave office. Many of them died in office or something like that. Most of them feared what would happen to them if they left. So when we are coming up with two-term limits, these limits, we wanted to encourage presidents to retire and they know that you can go home and be peaceful. That's how you must understand these packages.
Okay.
Given even to people who had repped their countries. So, okay, you go and relax. We will not follow you where you are. In fact, we can make you live in luxury. So that we encourage this idea of people knowing they can leave office when they're alive. These things take time to develop. This culture and tradition is not something you can put in books and it starts.
Okay.
We want people leaving office knowing nobody will bother you. That's why I spoke strongly against the harassment of people like Fred Matiang'i. Let people serve knowing when they are home, unless they committed crime for which they should actually be prosecuted. But if it is just witch hunting, let's leave people who have served this country alone to enjoy their retirement. Yeah.
Now, make me understand this finally. Politically, when you look at this, of course, you said that perhaps it was all this harassment and frustration done maybe to seek the attention of the former president or have him begging, as you put it here. So what could actually the president perhaps gain by making the former president beg?
Political. If I want you to go down, I want to make sure you go on your knees to weaken you politically. But there's a bigger game which I'll be talking about in the future, which is if these things are going to bring Raila, Uhuru, and Ruto together, they should be very, very careful. I want to advise them. They should be very careful.
Okay.
The country is changing and the world is changing. They should look at places like Salvador and the rest like those, and some other countries. People will decide, okay, you think we are stupid. You think you can play around with us. And they will get a small person, and not even belonging to any political party, and give him the presidency to teach these guys a lesson. They should not be seen to be getting too cozy with each other. Raila, Ruto, and Uhuru. People are watching them. They should be very careful. So when I had that interaction between Ruto and Uhuru, I said, these guys are taking too much for it. They should be aware the people can rebel against them and show them dust. They should not go in that direction. There will be nothing, like you started, there's nothing for Uhuru to talk about with Ruto in terms of benefit. There should be nothing.
But you're saying here that...
There should be absolutely nothing.
You're saying here that the president could gain some sort of political mileage from this. How? Make me understand. You frustrated the former is a member of the larger gamer community, and of course, this is their son. So how then does it help you even if he goes down?
You know, politicians, and I'm trying to explain, you don't understand. Politicians are money and this country and businessmen. Money is everything. Somebody can tone down. You see now, Gachagua is trying to unite the mountain. Ruto can get together with Ruto. Uhuru can get together with Ruto. with Raila
Okay.
to counter that Gachagua move. And that's the one I'm warning them against, because they will make Gachagua be followed by the whole country.
But this has happened for the
Or
past
somebody else.
This has happened for the past 2 years.
Which?
The lack of provision of funds to the office
Yeah.
of the former.
Yes.
So how would
Where it was going,
Uh-huh.
it was together with the persecution of Gachagua, serving to unite the mountain, most likely against Ruto. So now, when you plug from that equation Uhuru Kenyatta and bring him on the side of Ruto, Ruto could think he has succeeded, but the three figures working together is dangerous for Ruto's presidency.
So are you therefore trying to say that starving the former president of funds would actually draw him closer to the current, so that they have a
How
conversation?
many times can I explain?
Okay.
How many times? I've explained to you, and I've told you people would be wondering. But I've also explained that if I were Uhuru, these miserable shillings that I'm getting in retirement, would I even go for them? Even I would just tell. In fact, if it is Manyora, I will not even take that money. I'll say I cannot change the law. It is in the books. I will not change the law, right? Let it remain in the books. But for me, don't give me.
Okay.
Don't give me. Let it go to some other course. All my benefits, including my vehicles and everything, because they have to be changed every 3 years. So long as when the vehicles are due for changing, the next one, that budget goes to school feeding program in Kiambu. Or I choose Vihiga, for example, if I'm Uhuru Kenyatta. That's what I would do. But you see, he's following that money. He doesn't even need it. Does Uhuru need this little miserable shilling? He doesn't need. Does Uhuru need those vehicles?
Who doesn't need money?
No, I will explain to you. You see, even you, I'm sure you, even if you had 10 billion, you will fight and even kill to get 200 million. You, the way you are talking.
That's what you're
But
saying
there are
here.
people like me who just look and laugh. With all this money, what are you even doing with it? Maybe we are naive, but I keep asking myself, what would I do all this money, for example, Uhuru has? What will I do with it? What will I do with it? Nafanya nini hiyo pesa? What would I do with the money?
What would you advise the president to do now that it seems that he was somehow at loggerheads with, of course, he's not been having a good relationship with the former president. Now that he's at loggerheads with the two sons of the mountain region, what would you actually advise him to do?
But now he has brought one son home.
So you believe
Which
Uhuru is
I
on right
warn
now?
them is dangerous. I warn them it is.
But Prof, I don't buy this idea that you telling me that Uhuru has now been brought home on the other side.
What was he talking about?
Just because he's been denied his
What
parts.
conversation was he holding with Ruto? Is it about resources? Even if he's given a vehicle, will he ever enter that vehicle? Can Uhuru enter 3,000 cc vehicle? Let's be honest with ourselves. Those vehicles are Uhuru can't use such a vehicles. He can't. This is a prince. Mtoto amelelewa State House. He uses state of the vehicle, art vehicles. Even the way the vehicle itself is customized, custom whatever. The government can't afford those kind of vehicles that Uhuru is using. So he doesn't need those vehicles he's being given. He doesn't need an office. In fact, you can be given some filthy office which he can't even enter one day. One day. Even 1 minute Uhuru will not enter that office. Kibaki alijengewa nyumba huko Muhega. He never even stepped there. And I'm sure another office he was given. Now, I'm not sure, but I doubt that he went there. He doesn't need it. These are guys who are rich. There's nothing these benefits can give Uhuru which he can use.
And now that
He can't use that office. It will be below his standards. He can't enter any of those vehicles. Those are miserable vehicles. He will want bulletproof vehicles, custom made with all trappings of resources that he has. He can't. There's nothing this package can give to Uhuru which he can use. Nothing. Maybe salaries for Kenakans.
And now that you even mentioned the office, I understand that the government spokesperson here is saying, Isaac Manyora is saying that these people are actually flouting the procurement clause, because at the same time you want to be the landlord and tenant, at the same time saying that the president cannot actually use his preferred home as his office, and the government pays for that.
But he must. I would ask Isaac Manyora to read the law carefully. Yeah.
Okay.
To read the law carefully. I don't even want to ask him to find out how these things are done elsewhere. I just want to be fair to him, because he's my friend, by asking to read the law carefully, to look at the provision, to look at the spirit and the intent. Why did we come up with that law? If Uhuru has a space and he says the equivalent of that should be paid, and I use the office, what would be wrong with that? Because I don't blame Isaac Manyora. He doesn't understand many things. Security is of paramount importance to a former head of state anywhere in the world. Security is of paramount importance. And if Uhuru has considered all the factors and he prefers a certain place, so long as he's not asking for more money than he provided for, what would be the problem? Because you are not just dealing with Manyora or Isaac Manyora. You are dealing with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. You get it? How much does America spend on their former president, living, surviving presidents? How much? These small wars, they should stop. They are not necessary. It's bad manners. Give the president his due, but Kenyans can have a conversation on whether we should spend so much on those people. Then we change the law. Before we change the law, give them without them appearing to beg. But also, I'm appealing to Kenyans, and I want to appeal to Uhuru Kenyatta. Directly, those who listen to me and watch me, tell Uhuru Kenyatta, we must begin setting examples. We must begin setting examples. If God has given you all the resources you have, some of these things you can leave for the country. Set an example. Yeah, set an example. Set an example. Mike Pence was sleeping in his office, Vice President of America. Anatoka nyumbani Indiana mawapi, a sleeping bag, analala kwa office. He is entitled to anything he wants. We must begin setting example of leaders being ordinary people and feeling the ordinary people and saying, look here, I have an office, I have a home, I have cars, I have some little money. I don't even need my pension. Let it go to some cause. I'm going to, for as long as that money is available to me and those resources, the children of Kiambu in all the primary schools will have decent lunch. That money should go towards establishing kitchens in all primary schools in Kiambu. Because God has blessed me. We must begin setting these kind of examples. Okay? That's not to say somebody should sit on his money. It should be him to say, I don't need the money for now. Let it go to Kiambu children to have lunch. I'm encouraging our leaders to come out as really leaders and not politicians. Set good examples to show you feel the people. And not be like that man Chege is talking about in Things Paula. You have an elephant and you are bending to pick a grasshopper to eat. Na umebeba ng'ombe mzima, whole carcass on your back. Unaona sungura unainama kuchukua.
Are you willing to forfeit your retirement benefit packs from the University of Nairobi?
But you see now,
when that time reaches?
I think that is almost that's almost stupid, because me, I have nothing.
How comes you
I have nothing.
You want the former president to forfeit his and you don't want...
Listen. You cannot compare me to people who have money they don't need. My pension, if I told you my pension, my viewers will begin calling me, they'll say it's not true. If they knew how much we are given when we leave the university, they will say, no, that's not true. Where I work, we don't even give an office messenger that kind of money. So which money are you talking about? Do you know how much I will get when I leave? What are you talking about?
At least I know you'll get something.
And my life, who I am, and what I need to survive, is that money even enough?
So wait.
So you are comparing, you are comparing things that you don't compare.
Why do you want the former president to forfeit his, but at the same time you don't want to forfeit it?
The idea of forfeiting is that God has blessed you. Okay. And you don't need that money. Yeah. I wish I got there where God has blessed me enough, and I don't need my pension. I'll give it. Since my pension will be very little, I'll say every month it goes straight to Lombei Primary School. Every month, whatever is due to me, in a channel to Lombei Primary School, maybe Sarida Primary School in Kibaki. There are small schools in my place. Yeah, I'll do that. But unfortunately, I am not in that category of people who have more than they need.
You're not as blessed as they are.
No, I'm not blessed.
Well and good, ladies
I'm
and
happy God has blessed me with good life.
Okay.
I'm better than millions of people in this country. I'm better than billions of people in the world. But I do not have that which I don't need. Yeah.
But you encourage the former president to
To set an example.
Set an example.
Set an example.
By becoming a philanthropist.
Even these leaders, and I'm not talking about the president, even these leaders who have countless acres of land, begin to give some of this land to the poor and the needy.
Okay.
You know why, as we finish? And I want somebody to tell them, and those who are listening, you billionaires, some billionaires talk to me after, you billionaires, your children may not be as empty as you. Your children may not pursue the vanity you are pursuing. There are many people who will die leaving behind 50,000 acres of land, and the children don't need that. They are simple, they are doing their own simple thing, and they are enjoying it. A certain Asian doctor used to treat me before he went to America. I used to ask him, you come from such a rich family, why are you doing this stupid job? Kupima watu na stidos. He told me, please, this is what I enjoy. And I've told my family, I don't want any of the property they have. I just want to enjoy my job. Employed, not even a practice, he's employed and he'll live on a pension. I have another example of a person, Mzungu, I don't want to mention because people know him here. He's an American man. Everybody knows him because of the things he does. There are two. The brother is in America, him is here. If he hears atajua ni yeye anaongea juu yake. They live next to a park in Michigan. Him is telling the brother, I don't need this land. Our father had suggested, he didn't put in the will, he had just more or less suggested, why, if we are not using this land, some good piece of land, why can't we have it join the park? The national, whatever park, or national game reserve, whatever it is. His brother can't hear of it. I don't know what to get. We need those kind of people who, what they don't need, give it to those people who need. If you have 30,000 acres of land you don't need, you don't even farm it. Your children may not need it tomorrow because that means nothing. A cousin of mine died and the husband died. They used to stay in Mombasa. They had bought land around Mount Elgon. The children have never gone there. We keep asking, they say, we have our children and our grandchildren will not understand the vanity we are in. You understand what I'm saying? And therefore, when you are still alive, distribute some of this property to the needy.
Okay. Well and good, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from Professor Herman Manyora here. Of course, he is saying here that he's reading more than meets the eye from the kind of relationship that perhaps could be there between the former president and the current president right now. Of course, you've had that conversation that they are actually talking about the kind of frustration and the parts that that particular office has been denied for almost 2 years. Tell us what you think about what we've just talked here on. Allow me to stop this conversation here till we have this till we have it again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.